Bien, después de joder un rato y de activar cuestiones, ya pude volver al lore principal, así que continuemos con esto. Bueno, según esta weá dice que está abajo.
Wow! If it isn't the Traveler and Paimon! Oh, have you seen the article I wrote about you?
Claro que sí.
You've got some nerve! You just used us to make some quick Mora!
¿Dónde está la parte que no
Oh,
corresponde?
you needn't worry about that. I heard that you were in Poisson some time back, so I sent you a letter to discuss just that. It's alright though, I've set aside the amount intended for you. Really? Oh, you're the best! You're almost a little too easy to win over, Paimon. Oh, Paimon knows you're... Still, what brings you here all of us?
Claro que
A
sí.
friend of ours met you a while back, and when she mentioned it, we thought... Ah, so you know Miss Mona as well. She's a guest columnist for our paper. Really good one, too. So she said that you're a real... Nice. In which case, can this daredevil journalist... Huh? So your article in the... Oh, of course it doesn't. That was more like live photography. What I'd like to do is dive deeper and ask you to talk about
¿De
the
verdad
things
quieres
you've
hacerlo?
seen and experienced. Yeah. Are we even qualified enough? Why not? If I say you're worth an interview, then you're worth it. But not right now, of course. I'll need a few days to prepare. Oh. In that case,
¿De
we'll
acuerdo?
just... Oh, so that's a yes? Ooh, splendid! I'll tell the editor-in-chief immediately. Whew, so much to get done now. Talk to you later.
Ok.
Wait, Charlotte. Paimon's still got a question for you. Hmm? And what's that? If, just for example, Fontaine were to be Huh. That's the prophecy you're talking about, isn't it? I mean, I do hear... If you're seriously asking, then I might try and think of a way to leave Fontaine. Oh, but I'm still a journalist, first and foremost. That means I have a duty to be reporting from the scene. And secondly, I wouldn't forsake my homeland that easily. From what I've seen, most people don't know what they'd do should the worst come to pass. In truth, it might be better just to behave like normal rather than worry over such an end. So in all likelihood, I'd probably still be prepping at the office for that interview of ours. I know what you're thinking. That sounds a bit sad. Just think about it. If this nation really were to be suddenly destroyed tomorrow, but I still successfully finish an exclusive interview with a truly unique person, then the story... And then do you know what I'd do? Well, I'd write that story, send it for printing, and use Messenger. I'm not a dreamer, nor am I a workaholic. But I do love my job. But anyway, that's my... That's so nice. Anyway, let's go and take a look at the
Muy
sea,
bien, vamos
shall
al
we?
mar. A ver qué pasa. A ver, la otra parte quedó como de media hora, así que aunque esta tenga media hora está bien.
Hyman's been thinking.
¿En
If
qué
it
cosa?
wasn't Fontaine, but all of Tevat that would be destroyed. No, Hyman should ask if you could choose.
Como que si pudiera elegir, ¿eh?
We've always been moving to the next destination, so we haven't spent much time thinking about these kinds of things. We didn't have to either, with us always being on the road and whatnot.
Seguiré avanzando hasta que llegue ese día.
You mean, still traveling?
Sí, admirando todo lo que hay en este mundo.
Huh. Wait, isn't that what...
Interesante esto, ¿ah? Está acuático.
Feels like it'll... But it's still better than the Fortress of Mirapede, that's for sure. It's not only damn...
Ah, so the two of you are still here.
Oh, you're from the Palais Mermon?
Yes, I'm Isadora. Monsieur Nerfeado sent me to look for you two before. I heard that afterward you went to the fortress.
¿Pensaste que éramos fugitivos?
Not at all. I'm well aware that you're friends of his.
Somos todos oídos.
Yes, inside the opera house. The...
A riot?
Well, that said, Lady Farina was watching a performance at the opera house, loudly accusing her of doing nothing about the... And before she could respond, the crowd continued to grow and protest against the...
So people have started to put the blame on Farina. Guess they finally...
I agree. People will naturally rely on gods.
So what happened after that?
Seeing that the situation was spiraling out of control and that further argument was pointless, the Marechaussee Phantom had their hands full maintaining order and did not catch where Lady Farina had gone. Only when things had stabilized did we...
So, you mean
That's right. The Marechaussee has dispatched many... That said, I don't think there's much to worry about. She is a god, after all. Even if she could... Monsieur Nerfeado sent me to...
Don't worry, this is more than enough to...
Ah, is that so?
Muy bien, vamos a buscarla.
Well, sounds like we should hurry over to Poisson then.
Tiene las cosas muy claras.
If
Vámonos.
we know Farina, she won't try to fix things in this situation. And, as we also know, she may be loud and dramatic. When Nerfeado was talking to her in the Palais Mermonia, and she heard about Poisson, it would be hard for her to ignore being... Paimon thinks Farina's probably taken the opportunity to slip away to... Huh. Well, what do you think? Paimon knows the answer, of course, but Paimon can do the analysis to back it up, too. Cool, huh? In that case, there's not a moment to lose.
Realmente te hace Dios leer esas cosas. Vámonos. Todavía no termina esta cuestión, necesito que terminar esta parte para sacar el deseo. Eso es lo importante. Básicamente estoy haciendo esto por el deseo más que nada. Sí, mientras más deseo saquen, mejor me va a salir, básicamente. Así que hay que continuar. Hay que continuar.
This place looks deserted. Guess all the survivors must have evacuated already. All that's left here are signs of devastation. Could Farina really be here? Let's try to find her as soon as possible.
No, me voy a poner a Shogun en el equipo, pero bueno.
That's Farina, right over there. She really is here all on
No
her
le
own.
salto.
Should I just give up? What was meant to happen did happen after all. Everyone's dead. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. Give up, Farina. There's no point in holding out. I'm sorry, but what can I even do other than to repeat
Farina.
me? Who's that?
Don't worry, Farina, it's just us.
So it is you, blonde traveler from another land. Why, I almost thought you were someone from that mob of my...
Farina, you were crying just now, weren't you?
What do you mean, tear stains? Who did that uncivilized rap? They even dare to tout their Archon! I must teach them a lesson. Oh, and I'm sure Nouvellette and those people from the Marsh just...
Deja de fingir.
Of course not!
Hey, there she is! The Hydro Archon's over there! Quick, after her!
Farina, those people seem to be after you.
They are? They're just some rabbit that's against the rule.
Quick, we have to catch up with her.
Puto random de mierda siempre dando problemas.
This should be the place, right? Hey, Farina!
Furina, espera.
There's a good hiding spot over here. Quick, come to Paimon before the rest of them catch up to you.
Hay un lugar donde puedes esconderte. Ven con nosotros.
What is this place?
Hurry, they're almost here.
Rápido, ven.
Fine. I suppose haste is warranted. Lead the way.
Ay, señor. Ni mi esposa Shogun era tan complicada como esta.
Paimon's exhausted. tired.
Tan cute que Furina.
No, I mean, I merely gave in to the sheer enthusiasm they displayed.
No les tan alto, podrían oírnos.
You're right. Yep, that... what's happening? The ground's shaking.
A lo mejor otra catástrofe.
A quake of this kind preceded the flooding in Poisson, didn't it? It can't be. Well, there's no need to worry too much about that. Novelette's made some emergency plans, so the effect... Yeah, but the people of Poisson...
Bien, parece que ya puede dejar de aparentar. Ahora se está comportando como debería hacerlo. Bien, supongo que es hora de que yo hable.
It's true. I've been investigating the prophecy. I once had informants all over Tevat. I've tried all kinds of ways too, but all my efforts proved to be futile. We cannot make an enemy of the divine. No matter what we do, the will of the heavenly principles will have its way, and the prophecy shall be fulfilled.
Y aún así no te has rendido, ¿verdad?
Give up. I do love the sound of that phrase. It would mean finally coming to terms with fate, but also...
Pero también significaría que perderías lo último que se pierde, la esperanza.
Indeed. I've thought about giving up so many times. Fate is really unreasonable, isn't it? It has no heart and obeys no rules. The prophecy has only just started to come true, but just now, it all became clear to me. As long as the final moment hasn't come, it's still not too late. Don't worry. I will keep hope alive for everyone until the very end. Well, that's enough for now. I got the impulse to... Don't take
¿En
any
serio?
of what I just said seriously. How could I possibly let Fontaine fall to the whims of...
Come on! Paimon could have sworn you were actually being honest just now.
Esa es la verdadera Furina, ¿cierto? Escúchame, no hace falta que cargues tú sola con todo esto. Aunque nadie sepa la verdad, tu pueblo estará dispuesto a compartir tu carga.
Share my burden. That's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this would be my duty alone.
De acuerdo, no la compartas, pero al menos dime qué sucede. Cuéntamelo, seré tu testigo.
A witness. Yes, I've heard that you came to Tevat from beyond the stars, yes. In other words, you never belonged here. And if Tevat is, in its entirety, a show on a stage, then you're just a spectator.
No hay tiempo, solo escúpelo. Otra vez no.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my
¿Qué?
opening performance.
What the fuck? No, 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 no y no. ¿Qué carajo acaba de pasar? Que alguien me diga qué carajo acaba de pasar. Es que no puede ser, hermano. ¿Ya estamos en la trampa? What?
Now, without further ado, we may proceed to the trial of our god.
So, this is what it is. Do not forget, however, that I am Focalor, the god of justice, the embodiment of justice itself. Does it not strike you as even the least bit absurd?
May I interpret these words as your refusal to stand
¿Significa que
trial?
niegas a ser juzgada?
In that case, you will have the opportunity to defend your honor
En
through
ese
a
caso
duel.
puedes disponer tu oportunidad en un duelo.
You would draw your blade against a god? I see. It seems like you have made up your mind.
¿Qué?
Paimon can't believe it.
Pero
She just surrendered.
Pero ella es un arconte. Tiene que estar al mismo nivel que Itachi, Shogun y el borracho. O tal vez más. ¿Por qué se rinde?
What the heck is going on?
Wow. How...
Lady Farina, what?
Shh. It would seem that there has been a misunderstanding.
Looking for excuses again.
I raised my hands just now to indicate I will admit that I've been running away for a... I'm sorry, everyone. I was unable to protect the people of Poisson. You are not the only ones to be disappointed in me. But now, it is time for the Hydro Archon to show you her courage and resolve. I, Farina, will use this trial to show the world the true meaning of justice. This time, I will protect you. Applaud and rejoice. One of the most outrageous and fantastical arcs known to the opera epiclese is now unfolding before your eyes. Mark my words. This shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant shows ever to grace the stage of Fontaine. Woohoo! Oh, now we're making...
Oh, rayos.
Why does it feel like Farina just took over the whole thing? Like, also, even though she's still acting super dramatic, she is...
All right, then. Who will be my opponent in this...
The court asks the prosecutor to please take the stand.
Yo seré tu rival.
Is that so? Very well. Then please speak, witness to that. My accuser and fated opponent.
No pasa nada. Mientras gane el juicio podrá decirnos todo. ¡Oh my God!
Also, please allow me to ask, Azif, just how much work did you do to force me on...
Well, we did do a lot of prep after the meeting that day.
I can go over the tasks assigned to the Spina di Rosula, since they were rather straightforward and easy.
Navia, the president of the Spina di Rosula.
Most of the people who participated in the disturbance this morning were my subordinates. They changed into plain clothes and came to the Opera House as regular audience members. The people's resentment against their Archon has been building as more and more of the prophecy. Moreover, according to our understanding and analysis of you, so we arranged for a second group to lie in wait there.
So, you mean... the one...
And their goal was to force you to step into the giant magic box so you may personally...
That's right. That house was a magic box.
As the super ultimate version of the setup that I used when I first performed at the volume of the box was increased by a whole order of magnitude, and the distance it traversed was the entire gap between Poisson and Erenie. Was an arc. My thanks, Farina. Without your help,
you're welcome?
Of course, this performance was only made possible with Father's support. The House of the Hearth spent we had to select a location, construct the...
So, in other words...
That's right. It wasn't a sign of another disaster to come.
Lo siento, Furina.
Then, I can guess Nervillette and you gathered a crowd, prepared a stage, and made sure that the champion... Also that as soon as I appear...
Yes, that is correct.
Well, Clorand, I must commend you for your courage. Oh, as for you, Traveler, I suppose you'd make sure that I didn't notice anything amiss before revealing yourself as my prosecutor once we'd arrived on.
Te equivocas. Mi misión era hacer una última cosa. Queríamos que nos dijeras todo antes de llegar a esto.
Is that so? Then I suppose I must have missed my final. It's fine. The stage is already set, so there's no reason to disappoint the audience. Let's see this trial.
Efectivamente, ahora solo nos queda esta opción. No quería recurrir a esto, pero no hay opción.
Sir Prosecutor, please allow me to pass this. This is a document that Miss Charlotte applied for.
Huh? Charlotte
¿De parte de Charlotte?
Oh, so she's here too! Hey, Charlotte! Oh, let Paimon see. Wait, then that means this... So in other words, we can refer to this anthology of evidence every time we want to use something from our journey as evidence for an argument.
Nunca pensé tener ese uso, pero bueno.
Confirm the information in it. Just think of it as a
Hay que hacerlo.
refresher, all right?
You defeated the Hydro Archon in the very first duel you took part in at the Opera House. That's one for the history books, all right. I didn't think that you'd wipe. This is the first time Miss Fatui Harbinger. According to Monsieur Nerfeado, but I nearly lost the words of someone as extraordinary.
The prosecution and the defense are both in position. The trial shall now begin.
Oh, come on! Just fast forward to the part where the prosecution lays out my offenses. As the defendant, of course, it is only natural for human...
That's true. But my charge here is unrelated to your conduct as an Archon.
Pero escucha, no te estamos juzgando por haber o no hecho tu deber como arconte, sino por ocultar la verdad.
Instead, I would like to charge you as a fraud who's never been the Archon in the first place.
¿Qué? ¡Wow, wow, 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 wow! Espera, mamá mía. Espera. Antes de hablar de... ¿Qué? Te estamos juzgando porque no eres una diosa, Furina.
Wait, what was that? Lady Farina's a fraud?
Hey, I came here thinking...
Charge accepted.
Se aceptan los cargos.
Lady Farina, do you plead guilty to the charge?
¿Admite los cargos que se le acusan?
Lady Farina,
I plead not guilty. There is no way that I, Focalor, otherwise known as Farina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine.
Yeah, even though Lady Farina can be rather eccentric.
Yeah, I've never questioned her identity either.
I have cause to believe that common sense will prevail in this case. Many of the members of the audience have known me as the Hydro Archon. See? Even the Oratrice has decided to show. If you wish to drop the case, I can promise you as the God of Justice that you will not have...
An argument with near impossible odds, huh? You have to not only refute Farina's claims, but also overturn the long-held beliefs of the people.
Escucha, la gente cree que eres arconte porque así lo han creído desde que nacieron.
Well, I tried to give you the chance to... And if I was not the
Utilizaré esto.
That doesn't sound right.
¿Qué tal esto?
First of all, you may be a member of another long-lived race, which would allow you to naturally possess an extended lifespan.
Por ejemplo, una
And
maldición.
second of all,
Who gave you that idea? Was it the knave? You'd sink so low as to use a harbinger's words against me.
Eso no importa. Lo importante es que digas cuál es la verdad.
A curse. I once thought it possible that the aura, but in light of this claim, perhaps what I sensed was not your divinity, but
You sensed it too, huh, Nerfeado?
Es posible que seas una humana con una maldición, ¿verdad?
Lady Farina. Well, it is true that it's extremely difficult to...
Well, don't start celebrating too early now. Even if I have... Besides, everyone knows that the main difference between a human and a god is for centuries, manifestations of my authority have served the... One need only to turn their eyes towards the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal.
Un momento. Significa que ella no controla la máquina.
That doesn't...
¿Esto?
You tried to reference the Oratrice. But weren't you as confused as all the rest of us when the Oratrice declared Child to be guilty without any proof? Otherwise, you should have come up with a good explanation for that by now.
Didn't I make myself clear at the time? The decisions of the gods are naturally difficult for humans to comprehend. There is no need to provide an explanation.
Lady Farina, I believe a reminder of your current circumstances is in order.
Dadas las circunstancias, explícate.
While the court is in session, the principles of
Aunque
justice
sea
and the
un
law
arconte,
must come
hoy
before
es la
all
acusada.
else. You will prove yourself unable to defend against the prosecution's charges if you continue to withhold
Si no
vital
haces lo que se
information
requiere,
against the rules of the
me
court.
imagino que las cosas no girarán a tu favor.
I never thought you'd use that kind of rhetoric against me.
That was no trick of rhetoric, Lady Farina. I've merely reiterated the rules of the court.
No es
Rules
ningún
that all
argumento.
should respect and follow.
Esto es todo lo que ocurre. Y todas las normas que deben acatarse aquí.
So, you neither knew why Child was declared guilty, nor did you understand, instead of having been created by you, the manifestations of authority you mentioned have been made...
The real Hydro Archon. It is true that but the Oratrice handed out that verdict unilaterally. You can't argue that just because a divine...
She's still throwing out all kinds of excuses. Seems like she's confident that we won't be able to produce proof that she has no power over the Oratrice.
Bien, dejémonos de un lado de esas tonterías. Muéstranos tu poder en ese caso.
My power as an Archon.
If that poses a concern, I'm prepared.
You don't need to go that far.
Hasta como un humano con visión podría usar ese poder. Muéstranos tu poder.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or is it...
Indemnitium! Yes! It's all because of Indemnitium! All Archon. Thus did I give up all of my divine power.
Isn't that?
Yeah, no matter how generous an Archon can be, how could they give up all their power?
It seems like nobody's buying Farina's excuse.
Hey, come now, everyone. Please, I'm still the same Farina you knew, right? Please?
If what the prosecutor said is true...
Did she deceive all of us? And all of our parents? Enough! That's enough. Tell me then, if you have no evidence of another Hydro Archon.
Wow, she came up with yet another argument.
Aunque no tengamos pruebas de que no es un arconte, al menos podemos mostrar que es humano. Si fue... Entonces ya sé lo que es. Esto, la de la profecía. Me cago. ¿La chica desaparecida?
It has been established that all Fontanians can...
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use right here and now.
Miss Navia, please apply to serve as a temporary attorney for the prosecution before addressing the...
Super sorry, monsieur. Now, I've brought some seawater from Poisson. As everyone knows, a massive... including those of some of my close... So, Miss Farina, would you dare to touch some of this seawater? If we are to believe that you are indeed the real Hydro Archon, touching this seawater would have no effect on... But, if you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the... Oh, and I must remind you that after the disaster I do hope you'll act prudently and choose the simpler path of admitting...
Navia from the Spina di Rasula. The Spina...
If Lady Farina is indeed just a human, she's probably Fontanian.
¿Lo hará?
Lady Farina, this test has been unilaterally proposed by the prosecution. As it falls outside...
Well, of course he had to tell her that. But refusing to participate...
She's just staring at the water without saying a single...
What's going on? Is she really...
Due to the inherent risk of the test, Lady Farina.
What?
Hey!
Sí que lo hizo.
I'm fine! Look at me, everyone! Will you believe me now?
Miss Seedwing, if you're...
Siege, don't be nervous. It'll just take a...
Please announce the results of your
Anuncia el resultado del
evaluation to the
experimento, por
court.
favor.
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Farina was displaying... She was experiencing the adverse effects of...
Thank you, Miss Seedwing. Lady Farina.
Vuelva a su sitio, por favor.
What did she just say? I didn't get dissolved! Well, considering your tendency to run from your problems, however, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not concentrated enough to dissolve. We don't want anyone else to lose.
Yeah, so out of regard for Farina's life, it's a great thing that the director...
Muy bien, es imposible que ella no supiera las consecuencias de hacer esto. ¿Acaso defender su sentido es más importante que su vida? A lo mejor... Así que...
Listen to me, everyone. Please think about it. How can you conclude? Also, if I was... Please, everyone, anyone, just listen to me. I swear, I really am your...
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone.
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't...
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
Considero hasta el fin del juicio. Si nadie tiene nada que objetar, demos fin a esto.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. She's too stacked against her now.
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Farina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Farina is
Con el poder que me confiere,
guilty.
declaro que todo lo que ha hecho Farina ha sido engañar y fingir ser un arconte. La declaro culpable. Tal vez sea el arconte, pero la maldición le quitó los poderes, tal vez. Nadie se emitirá su veredicto.
According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal.
Toda la vez yo declaro Farina.
Well, What's wrong? What's the Oratrice's
La
verdict?
analizadora la declaró inocente, ¿cierto?
The Oratrice also displays a guilty.
Isn't that correct then?
However, the exact wording
Son
of the verdict is thus
Arconte
to be
Hydro.
punished via.
Y se lo condena a pena de muerte.
That's actually one of the available sentences?
The one and only time the death sentence has been handed out at the court.
Farina's been sentenced to death by the Oratrice? We just wanted to use the trail to...
This outcome is indeed quite strange. According to Fontaine's current definition, is this sentence really appropriate for the crimes?
Yeah! Even Fauché wasn't sentenced to death by the Oratrice. You know, the real evil mastermind behind the serial disappearances case.
Lo más extraño es que ponga Arconte Hydro y no su nombre.
Indeed. Not only is Farina's sentence overly excessive, the very point of our... But now, the Oratrice seems to have
Esa máquina tiene entidad propia, ni siquiera la Arconte.
Excuse me, if I may interrupt. Is the trial still going?
Fremine! You finally made it.
Mm-hmm. Any...
Is that the first prophecy? Huh. So the native private...
I looked everywhere and finally found it at... But has the trial already concluded? Then...
Tranquilo, llegaste justo a tiempo.
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Fremine. Please allow me to review... Traveler, I believe that you have already seen the other
Muy bien.
Huh? So what do you see? What do you...
¡Espera! ¿Es la antigua corte convirtiendo a los Oceánidas
I
en
believe
humanos?
I've now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime.
Huh? Isn't the Hydro Archon just guilty of deceiving her people? So when you say Hydro Archon...
In truth, everything that you've encountered in Fontaine up until this point. However, I'm uncertain as to how much sense they currently make to
Están
you.
relacionadas con la realidad.
Let's try to recall the...
¡No! 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 ¡No!
The first stone slate describes what you just said. Does that mean that Fontanians are transformed to the second stone slate shows Celestia floating in the sky, and the Hydro Archon and her people... This must be the point when the Hydro Archon and the third slate shows the Hydro Archon... Never mind. Well, the fourth slate is the prophecy the Fontanians have been talking about. We didn't believe that such a crazy disaster could happen at first, did we? That doesn't...
A ver. Esta. Con esta, ¿no?
That doesn't...
¿No?
We know from the case of the serial disappearances of young women that Fontanians can be dissolved in primordial seawater, and the first stone slate tells us that long ago, the Hydro Archon used her power to turn Oceanids into humans. This might be the reason that Fontanians can dissolve.
Ok.
That doesn't...
Era nadie entonces.
That doesn't...
¿No? ¿La taza de té?
That doesn't...
¿Aquí es la taza de té?
That doesn't...
¿Acá?
That doesn't...
Me cago en todo.
That doesn't sound...
Por descarte, weón.
Perhaps what is about to take place has all happened before. The true sin of the Hydro Archon that Nervalette mentioned, and the original sin cast down on the people of Fontaine by Celestia, as recorded on the stone slates.
¿Este? Ahora sí la taza... No, la taza tampoco, me cago en todo. Este. Puta, ya Navia por descarte.
It's not as simple as falling. When Navia fell into the sea, The stone slates show the people gathered around the Hydro.
Obviamente Nebula.
The prophecy from the stone slates found its way into the fortress of Meropide was nearly flooded with primordial sea. If we hadn't dealt with it in time, things could have gone very badly.
They'll dissolve into the primordial sea but won't cease to exist. Their essence will flow in the seawater. The Hydro Archon was sentenced to death in court. Navia fell into the water inside those ruins, and she nearly dissolved. She was surrounded by the people. The eruption of the primordial sea at the fortress of Meropide was the surest sign that the prophecy's contents can all be verified by recent events.
La primera placa demuestra que la gente de Fontaine no es realmente humana.
Incredible. All Fontainians were originally created by the late previous Hydro Archon. The evidence for that can be found in how only Fontainians could dissolve in primordial sea. Oh, and according to Navia, when she was about to get dissolved,
Indeed.
La segunda muestra que crear a la gente fue el pecado del arconte aire.
yeah, and it follows from the content of the first slate that she probably anchored. That could also explain why the Oratrice judged the Hydro Archon.
The Hydro Archon's true sin?
And yet, after many hundreds of years, the Hydro Archon's creations have turned around to try to judge the Archon within the Opera Epiclese.
En cuanto a la tercera cuarta, siento que deberían ir invertidas.
Yeah, isn't the image here just like when Navia fell in? So wouldn't it be trying to show the image of the Hydro Archon also falling into the sea once the prophecy has been fulfilled in the fourth slate?
La cuarta placa se refiere a la profecía.
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters. Did Paimon get all that right?
You've made some keen deductions. I must say, given how much you still... However, while you were able to decode all the information on the slate, when we were at the ruins, I tried to decipher the hidden info. Now that the slate collection is complete, I shall make another...
Well,
I believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with all the people of Fontaine as well. I will try to briefly summarize it for you. Your hypotheses regarding the origin of Fontainians and the sin of the Hydro Archon. In the Fontaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land. The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon their... However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power, not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars by appropriate... She poured primordial seawater into the Oceanids' blood vessels, creating humanoid mimics in the process. But if Fontainians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power within their bodies would escape these artificial restraints and return to the sea. As a result, their forms would collapse, and they... Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race. And thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is the truth.
So you...
That's way too much information for me. Wait, but if that's the truth, we can't let the Hydro Archon be sentenced to...
This really might be too much information for your regular...
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the third and fourth stone slates was inaccurate. The slates' respective positions are, in fact...
Entonces, ¿qué relata la tercera?
Point of the visual on the third slate, they have not been dissolved, which the nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as the nation of trials and justice. You may also recall Navia's experience. When she fell into the sea, her consciousness was surrounded by that of many others. Therefore, that the people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Archon.
Entonces,
Yes, it refers.
I think I'm following now. So, what you're saying is, in truth, everything we've done has happened exactly as the prophecy for.
What should we do?
no lo sé.
No matter what,
If that's the case, does that...
Traveler, I would like to point out enough about the fourth slate. However, I believe that rather than being a sure sign, as for the root cause of the catastrophe, I believe it
¿Te
will...
refieres a...? ¡No! ¡Ya basta! ¡Ya basta! ¡Ya basta, weón!
Cause of the disaster.
No, 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 no. Pi, 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 pi.
That doesn't...
¡Ay! Todo no a pico.
It was both a dream.
If we're talking about a true culprit, that could...
The truth, the
La
original
verdad, el
sin,
pecado original, el
the
juicio,
trial.
la catástrofe. Todo tiene que ver con esa ballena que vio juez. ¡Wow! ¡Sí que es fuerte esa cosa! Te dije que te ayudaría por esta vez, Danker. ¡Y yo cumplo mi palabra! ¡Ah! ¡No! ¡Jue volví a caer! ¡No! ¡Pi, pi, 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 pi!
Too close! How did that thing just burst into the opera
¿Qué
house?
rayos era esa cosa?
Wait, was that the huge whale you saw in your dream?
Es la ballena que vimos en las
So
visiones.
we've met it at last. I understand very well why it is chosen. That whale does not belong to Tivat. It is a monster that has been greedily consuming the energy from the planet's primordial sea, using it to grow. And once it has finished consuming...
you said that when the Hydro Archon first created Fontaine...
Precisely. That whale... Therefore, when it left the primordial sea, it decided to make its next stop up.
We just barely managed to push it back, right? In that case...
That is correct.
Me temo que
Indeed,
sí.
it is more accurate to say that we should thank that Harbinger for buying us some time. Without him, the whale would have likely come onto land far sooner.
Si apareció ahora es por juez.
From the way he looked, he must have been fighting the creature for quite a long time.
A jugar por lo agotado que parecía. Debe haber estado batallando con esa ballena quién sabe por cuánto tiempo.
That battle maniac. We've always known that he had a special... Anyway, now that we know that this whale is the...
It is too
Es
late.
demasiado tarde. ¿Por
It
qué?
had already absorbed too much of the primordial sea's energy before we could notice it. Even if the entirety of Tivat were to be destroyed, it could still survive.
That's not... We've already done everything we can. And we've come so far. You can't just tell me that the last hurdle is some...
Indeed, that's not how a grand performance should end.
I'll fight it to the end. No matter what.
So the prophecy will be fulfilled no matter what, huh?
Por supuesto que no. Yo mismo la detendré.
The prophecy. Yes. Just as prophecies are usually only the future, ultimately,
Hay una manera de salvar a los demás. Hay algo que se me está escapando. Yo al no ser de este mundo puedo ser inmune a sus efectos. Claro, Furina lo sabía.
Oh, what's happening with the oratories?
I believe it is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
Creo que ejecutaron la pena de muerte. ¡Furina, espera!
No, I still need answers.
No, no la dejaré morir. ¡Oh my god! ¡Qué final, joder, hombre! ¡Qué final épico, loco! Buenísimo el final. ¡Wow! Conchetumare, medio lore. Esto es cine. ¡Qué hermosa, por Dios! ¿Ese es su verdadero modo? ¡Ese es Fócalos! Tiene que serlo, pero no. ¡Qué hermoso el atuendo!
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face is just too amusing.
You are not Farina.
The sweet sound of bewilderment. Marvelous. A sure sign that my attempt to deceive everyone was a resounding success.
Fosolo, why did you deceive us?
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. Goodness, no. The heavenly principles.
Deceiving the heavenly principles?
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. One was not amused. In fact, one was positively bemused when that problem was thrust upon me by my dearest predecessor. That's the former Hydro Archon Egeria, for she knew full well that the prophecy, and as one of the seven, she also knew full well that one defies the heavenly principles at one's peril. So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather impossible situation that I found. I spent a terribly long time mulling it over, alone on the ocean floor. And I was almost growing barnacles by the time I finally realized I had to outwit the heavenly principles, allow the prophecy to be fulfilled, ostensibly at least. I'm a genius, I know. I can only assume that's why Egeria chose me as her successor. Although, looking back now, it was hardly the inheritance one dreams of. But one can only play the hand one is dealt. I did not choose this, any more than I chose.
So you were also once one of the Oceanids?
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do. Even after becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive and bewildered as my past. The me you see before you now is that divinity. And the human counterpart I left behind, I named Farina. She could feel joy, sorrow, and everything in between. Her strengths were of a kind, but in my eyes, Farina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human in every way. Anyway, so then, all part of the plan, of course. The plan to deceive that... Do you still remember the final scene of the in order that the prophecy might appear fulfilled, I invited Farina under the curse I placed on her. So long as I, Focalor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die. But nor was she free to live. Instead, she was forced to take the stage in the opera house, to embrace the role of leading. I suppose now you probably understand why.
But Farina is only human. Even though she has had a long life, her mind... I cannot be...
It has indeed. And although it's been 500 and all along, she's been playing her part in the most unimaginably long, unbearably lonely.
Toqué una lágrima de furia si no recuerdo mal. Las lágrimas contienen las emociones más fuertes de los seres humanos. Cuando alguien tiene la sensibilidad del elemento hidra como yo, puede sentir todo esto. ¿Estaré en el mundo interno de ella? ¿Qué hace ella en el escenario? Puede que no sea ella, sino un reflejo. Si pudiera hablar directamente, tal vez averiguaría lo que necesito. He venido en busca de respuestas, así que no puedo dejar de pasar otra oportunidad. ¡Debo hablar con ella! Ok, esto lo hago como capítulo especial, hermano, porque de verdad está quedando muy largo, pero de verdad es el mejor capítulo de esta tercera temporada, seguramente. ¡No puedo ponerme a yogur, coño!
Oh? Who permitted you to come onto the stage? Now, I understand your admiration for my august self,
Farina,
but I must
soy yo,
ask...
Danker.
All right. It is not my intent to reprimand you. There is no need to state your name. Just be off with you. Do not distract me from my performance.
Pero si aquí no hay público.
Oh, do not jest. Can you not feel it? I am Focalor. The eyes of countless Fontanians are upon me. I must at all times...
Nada, es imposible hablar con ella en su interior. Sigue interpretando el papel del arconte. Es subconsciente. Tengo que encontrar la manera de hablar directamente.
Audience. The performance is experiencing a
Por
technical
fin pelea,
difficulty,
coño.
but worry not. The guards shall resolve it soon.
May have overestimated myself.
Conche tu madre, sí que son molestas estas cosas. Muy bien. Hagamos esto, bueno. Bankai. Felix. Trama again. Fuera. Desgraciado.
Hey, what gives? The audience is still watching me, you know. Guards? Wait, where are the guards? Guards!
Escape.
Carajo. Phoenix!
Retribution!
Them again!
Be still.
Vete a dormir, robot de mierda. ¿Ahora qué? ¿Quién es el último? ¿Qué fueron estas palabras que escuché antes? ¿Será la voz anterior de ella? ¿Una entrada? ¿Cómo acabó aquí? ¡No puede ser! Parece que empezaron el espectáculo. Veamos quién eres, Furina. No puedo correr, no puedo moverme.
Farina. Farina.
Huh? Who's that? Who's calling me? Where are you?
Be not nervous. Be not afraid.
Wait a moment. You're... Mirror me? Mirror me.
The prophecy.
What prophecy? The people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will...
Oh.
What's going on?
Yes, it will. And that is why I've come to you.
But doesn't that mean everyone will die? I'm a Fontanian just like...
Oh, don't worry. Magic, I will tell you how to save everyone.
Oh, so there's still hope after all. As for the suffering, but if the prophecy will come true, if there were scales, with all the people of Fontaine on one side, and my pain on the other.
I suppose this would also be the...
Huh?
Don't worry, it's nothing. Listen well. Fontaine has just lost it.
Play as...
That's right. You must begin. If you can keep it up, then I shall have my way of defying...
But how will I do this?
Don't worry. What you must do is not to... Being a human yourself, remember, your true challenge...
I'm still not... So, how long am...
To accomplish this mission, you will have to stay on this... But I promise you, all...
A trial, huh?
¡Wow! ¡Es que es una locura! ¿Será que la orden celestial y el verdadero dios del agua que le había a jugar es Poseidón? Tendría sentido, ¿ah?
The Maison Cardinalise has announced my What should I say to most appear like a god? To be honest... Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I'm sure you've all heard about how I have taken on the role of Hydroarch. In truth, I know little about becoming a nation's new god. As the god Focalor, the god of justice, I shall do all with... Once again, thank you all for coming. If you should... This... I thought I might stammer, but
That's the new Hydro Archon. Is this some kind of joke by the Maison? I would have thought that a being that surpasses humanity would be a...
Hey, did you hear that? She even told us to send her
Shouldn't gods be all-powerful? She's being so modest.
If you ask me,
Perhaps the succession didn't actually happen.
Lo siento, pero vamos a tratar todos los random de mierda, ¿eh?
Why is everyone suspecting me of being a fake? Right. Mere me said, calm down, Farina. Think. Assertive. With a strong sense of presence. One who can dispel. Oh, very good, my people. Oh, now, I was wondering if some weak... Well, it seems that you may consider my previous act a door gift. Now then...
So that was just a performance. How could I have forgotten that we...
Personality? It's quite shocking, to be honest, but I suppose it's a better look than before.
Such a fascinating and bold deity. How wonderful. Our future may yet be bright after all.
Cállense, randoms. Cállense.
Best follow this flow and restart my accession speech. My dear people, whether you acknowledge me or not, whether you trust me or nay, I say to you, keep faith, and we have heard it said that this nation's sins can no longer be washed away. Well, the scales of justice should not weigh heavy in the hands of its God. May law be the prayer on our lips. May judgment be our worship. Let us... No, this won't work. They'll suspect me again. I must play the role that they... There is no trouble in this world that... So long as I, the
Ahora creo que la quiero más que nunca, Furina, después de conocer su historia. Ahora sí que la quiero sacar. Y como la tengo asegurada, voy a sacar la concha a la lora como sea. Así que sí corre, ¿eh?
Lady Farina, here are today's case reports.
Come now. Was I not just at the Besides, none of these...
If I may be...
A magnificent, dramatic, and...
That's true, I fear I...
No need for fright. And do not take what I said before too seriously. Go now.
Está quedando súper largo este capítulo, ¿eh?
I don't...
No need to thank. All right.
You remembered me. He is doing much better now.
Oh, good.
You're such a...
Lady Farina, you're...
I see. It's as I thought. All manner of...
Well...
Really?
I'm...
Tengo que seguir de esto ya, por favor.
The day is finally over. But it's good to see that everything's... Maybe this is fine. All right, Farina.
Lady Farina, here are the new...
There'll be no need.
Lady Farina.
Indeed, my dear Lord.
Lady Farina, we're detecting significant...
Understood. Keep on. I feel utterly...
Menos mal que no fue... ¿no?
I've heard that the first member of... Are you crying?
Really now? This must be the overflow of hydro from my person. Well, can't quite help being the god.
No wonder. No wonder.
So interminable. Hundreds of years must I never have I want to tell someone. I've conducted so many. All I can do is keep heart. I must.
¡Ya basta, Freezer! ¡No más! ¡No más! Me gusta el personaje, pero ya basta. ¡No más, Freezer! ¡Basta, Freezer! ¡Basta! Escucha, a lo mejor ya no tiene que estar más sola, Furina. Tu pueblo estará contigo y compartirá tu carga. Esa es mi voz, es lo que hablé antes. Perfecto. No pensé que estaría aquí, pero bueno.
Share, that's impossible. It was fated right from the start.
But even if your burden doesn't need to be shared, you can still choose to
Aunque no puedas compartirla, dime qué
Just
es.
share it with me.
A witness. And if to that is in its... He's right. But if things don't... No, Farina. You shouldn't be... But what if... Farina, you've worked so... Is it such an outrage if you let this opportunity think about it long and hard? No, I have nothing to say. All you need to do, dear spectator, is to witness...
Ya veo.
Fine.
Está bien.
So even Farina doesn't know the truth. You've never...
Yes, it had to be. She did very well. If she had let her resolve falter even once in these 5 centuries, it seems that trusting humanity...
I believe that I understand how your deception works. How would you build on this foundation to save the...
Ah, good. Of course, the Udex of Fontaine has pinpointed the crux. I'm sure you've long sensed that the Oratrice is no...
I've always suspected that it had its own consciousness. And Lenny did mention that he heard a It now seems that that person was you. Hidden within the machine all along.
And then I became one with the Oratrice, taking Fontaine's gnosis with me. Yes, it would seem so, wouldn't it?
No.
Alas, your understanding of... In truth, it is no enactor of justice. Oh, you have it. And to be more precise, not only... I mean, my work over these last 500 years, but really, some have already discovered that only a small the vast majority has been, had to be.
It was all a part of your plan then.
Indeed. This power, accrued over 5 centuries, could have sustained, but only power of this magnitude could hope to destroy the Hydra.
So the Oratrice's call for death was for neither Farina nor Focalor. The destruction of that divine throne.
Returning what's rightfully yours. In other words, this was all done to return the authority of the Hydra Archon to the Hydro Dragon of this
¿Quién fue el arconte todo este tiempo?
No, What? The authority of the ancient dragons shall soon be yours once more. Oh,
all you've done throughout the years is just so you
Has
can
hecho tanto
sacrifice
estos
yourself
años
at the
y
very
todo para
end.
sacrificarte a ti misma.
I've never quite seen it that way, you know. Even now, I'm quite pleased at how well my deception... Hydro Dragon, Hydro... I must say, had it been within my rights, I would have loved Egeria stole the power of the primordial sea. And the heavenly principle stole the power. I, for my part, am the god of justice. And speaking of justice, I have always believed that justice... So, if the theft of the primordial sea... Then, leaving matters of procedural right and wrong aside, in other words, exist defying the prophecy and ensuring that Fontaine's... At this point, we, Eudex Nervillette, the highest judge in our land.
So when I was invited to the court of Fontaine to serve as Eudex, I see now that that was your idea too.
Así cuando me vieron ser el juez supremo de este lugar, fue obra tuya, ¿cierto? Y para impedir que Poseidón atacara antes.
At last, I now understand
Ahora
the true
entiendo todo.
purpose. In the beginning, I was uninterested in human existence. But these 5 centuries of living alongside them have gradually brought about mutual understanding between us. And I have even
No era muy
attempted to feel
simpatizante por
as
los
they
humanos,
feel.
pero vivir con ellos por más de 500 años me ha ablandado y me ha hecho entenderlos mejor.
You are things being
Astuta
as they
eres.
are. Surely you know that I could never declare them.
The hour of my execution is almost here. For the sinner, the curtain call has come. I know I may not sound it, but faced with death, I find myself a little afraid. Perhaps this is one thing both gods and humans have in common. Farewell, Nervillette. I hope you've enjoyed the part you played these 500 years.
¡No! Significa que esto le va a llegar a Furina, pero no la va a matar a ella. Va a matar a su alter ego de Arconte. Y ella va a seguir viva únicamente con su capacidad humana. Adiós, Focalors. Y hola, Furina. Yo, el verdadero dragón. Perdono todos los pecados de esta nación. Dime que ya guardé. Dime que ya guardé, por favor. Quedó de una puta hora y media. Quedó de una puta hora y media. Por favor, déjame descansar.
What just was that bright light some sort of mystery?
But since we're all...
It's time to end this. We must mete out punishment to that
Es hora de
beast.
terminar con esto. Y hora de matar a esa maldita ballena.
Didn't you say just a moment ago that it can't be defeated?
Lo era antes, pero ahora sabemos que es una de las partes de Poseidón. Y que realmente es una encarnación.
I have
Hay que
gained the
destruirlo.
strength sufficient to deal with it. Through certain means, I now have the ability to separate
Ahora
the
tengo
power
mis
of the
poderes al
primordial sea
máximo.
from that creature. We should seize the
Ha
opportunity
llegado la
to
hora de
pursue
hacer
our
lo que hay
glory.
que hacer. Todo eso que acaba de pasar ahora, ¿cierto?
Traveler, now that the oratories can no longer function, I require an executor to help me mete out justice.
¿Yo?
The root of the calamities befalling Fontaine. The beast that... Come with me, traveler. The hour of execution has come.
Claro que sí. No me güey. No me güey, hermano. Basta. Basta. Esto ya parece una película. Basta. ¡Doña! ¡Tengo que pelear! ¡No mames!
It's huge!
¡Pero estoy con un hueón de agua!
Considering the size of the beast, I cannot reach the power source.
¡Pero como algo!
Unless we can find a way to attack it from within.
Y yo que viene sin mami.
To the ancient dragon. We shall look for an opening together. I can feel its sorrow turning into hostility.
Bueno, sí le pillaron, pero... ¡Cambia! ¡El campo, el campo! ¿Sí? ¡Ahora, Fénix! ¡Stand again! ¡No! ¡Fuck!
All-devouring narwhal cannot resist. Continue to trigger its hostility.
Adiós, adiós, adiós.
Present itself.
¡Oh, coño! ¡No!
Let's light it up!
¿Ahora qué? No, 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 no. ¡Me largo! ¡Me largo! ¿Eh?
What's that hole thingy over there? It looks scary.
Be still.
I have granted
Fénix,
much.
stand again!
Do not fear. Seize the moment and use my power to suppress its root from within.
¡Coño, coño, coño!
Manifest the authority of the
¡Cambia, joder!
Witness the might of the primordial sea.
Insisto, yo soy mami. Muy bien, muy bien. Diluc. Danker God. Goku God o lo que sea. Llegó el momento de brillar.
Look at you, Riverdale.
Fénix, stand again!
I'm a rock.
¡Quédate quieto! Bankai! ¡Coño! ¡Ay, no! Puta, no mames, loco. ¡Muere! Ahora cagaste, culiao. ¿Qué? ¿Qué pasa? Llegó mi turno. Ay, no. ¿Ese qué? ¡Juez! Esta
Thanks for
cosmoenergía.
helping with the cleanup. It should have been my job, but oh well. It was just supposed to be a short
¡Wow!
preach.
¡Pero qué diseño ese chakra
I think that
maligno!
my disciple and my master's well, actually, I had a feeling that it would happen at some point, but they bumped into one another earlier than I thought. What a blunder. I suppose I'll have to swing my sword 3 million times as penance.
Tu aprendiz, ¿eh?
Paimon has an idea. It's just that he gave us the impression that she was...
I simply did not have anything to say to the weak. But you, on the other hand, so you may speak to me as equals.
¿Quién tendría ese tipo de
I
cosas
have
como
to
mascota?
agree. It's a strange use of a planet's... That kind of power is wasted on it. It's not cooperative. It eats too much. And I have more important things to do with my time than pet sitting. All in all, it fails as a pet.
Miss Skirk?
The point be...
Well, being that this pet almost destroyed an entire nation. So what sort of person is your master?
Oh, right. So you don't know him. Sorry. His name is Sir Tologi.
¿Qué?
I am unfamiliar with that.
Huh. So Master is insufficiently famous. How should I describe him then? Have you heard of the...
The foul?
El caballero
Still
protege.
nothing? Well...
Ooh, that one we've heard. Rhine part of the Hexen Circle. She's Albedo's mom, right?
Oh, so you do know that name. To be honest, but I suppose you understand now, yes?
Wait! Didn't you also mention a visionary person?
Actually, never mind that. I believe that the all-devouring narwhal used up nearly all such roiling hydro energies will prove difficult. As such, the Fontaine back on the surface has... In other words, the prophecy that you've been fretting over should never...
What?
No hay nada para sorprenderse, lo sabíamos. Sabíamos que eso ocurriría. Pero...
Not to worry. Focalor has already managed to deceive the...
Ya terminó. Dime que no hay otra pelea.
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only Farina will remain, weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
Bueno, este capítulo es el mejor de la saga. Navia. Leslie. El Danker, un Danker ahí siempre presente, claro que sí. Oh my god. Y otra waifu salvada por el poder del patriarcado, literalmente. ¿Quién diría que dos Dankers salvarían el mundo? De nuevo. Dime que ya guardé, por favor. Dime que ya guardé. Please. ¡Qué locura de K, brother! ¡Qué fucking locura! Me ha encantado, loco.
The soil renewed. The Sweetadivasula tax post old soil can still give birth to new bloom, Miss Navia stated. Skyship Winglet, Booner Bane of the Fontaine Research Institute. The various disputes that have arisen on account of Mr. Edwin have suddenly been... People always call the first researcher mad, but few... Wow! Paimon barely recognizes the people in the reports. Are those really Jurier and Navia? They sound like real big shots.
Nosotros éramos los únicos que no sabían lo importantes que eran, ¿no?
What do you think? Pretty enthralling, huh? The Steambird's idea was pretty simple. The value for these big scoops lies in their inevitable follow-ups. We'll publish further. Edwin's assistant, Jurier, created a true flying ship, while Navia is leading people in the reconstruction of their home. I'm sure that these stories could draw even your well-traveled eye.
La verdad es que me quedo con ganas de hacer más cosas, la verdad.
Wait a minute.
And that's exactly why I'd like you to come conduct interviews with me. You're the best incubators of news, if you haven't noticed.
Are you sure? Hasn't he turned you down several times?
Oh, this time will be different. Come on, let's...
Ok. Terminamos la batalla sin mami, ¿eh? Sin mami, ¿eh? Bien, en el siguiente capítulo, bueno, tengo que ir para allá. Ok. Pero ahora lo vamos a dejar hasta acá. Ha sido un gran cap muy largo y un capítulo de larga duración que va a ser dividido. Básicamente voy a dejarlo como capítulo dual o 2 en 1. Así que lo vamos a dejar hasta acá. Espero que les haya gustado este video. Si es así, por eso me gusta la suscripción. Comenten lo que quieran, suscribirse no cuesta nada. Y no nos rendiremos. Tendremos a Furina y seremos mucho mejores. A todo esto podemos ya reclamarlo. Bueno, no, todavía no puedo reclamar eso, pero bueno. Vamos a dejarlo hasta aquí y veremos qué pasa mañana. Así que lo dejamos hasta acá. Adiós, gracias por ver. Bye bye.